Tavern Talk. We are a live talk show based on the epic fantasy series Real Time by Robert Jordan. We are pet friendly. We are gay friendly. We are friendly to all types. Humans and all the spectrums are welcome. As I want to say, joining me as always, my brother Dan.
Hello.
One of the progenitors of the Way to Leave. Jansen the Greenman. That's Waits to Die, and Beth.
Ryan, before we go further, check your mic. I'm not sure if you're using the right mic input.
All right, I'm going to work on that.
Unless your setting is tin can on a string talking from one house to another.
Shit. All right, I'm on it.
All right. Hello, Jansen. Hello, Dad Swain. Hello, Beth. Hey, guys, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's good seeing
Wait a
you.
minute. I haven't seen Beth for weeks.
I know. Life has been lifing.
Right,
I hope you guys safely blew stuff up this weekend, as is your American right.
I blew up pixels because I streamed on the 4th of July.
You
Yes.
will blow
I
it up.
did not blow up anything, but I did lay my stepfather to ashes.
Aw.
Oh, can you guys hear me now?
We
Yes.
hear you great.
Yes.
Awesome. I'm back. I'm back, babies.
Bum, bum, bum.
Jansen, I'm sorry to hear that. We've been talking off show. Do you have anything to say about it? That?
Oh no. Other than he was the love of my mom's life, and
Mhm.
I bid him well. And like they always say, part of the journey is the end. So he was a very smart guy, PhD, Reverend. Very
He had
well.
He had a
versed.
PhD in Reverend?
No, he had a PhD, and he was also
Yeah, I'm just playing. Yeah.
a minister. He was very, 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 very good to my mom. So
Awesome.
awesome.
Well,
Yeah,
we're glad
no,
you're back safe.
Yeah. Like I like to say, start to finish, right?
Yep.
Start to finish. That's what
Yep.
love is. Start to finish.
Hmm.
All right, Dad Swain, how have you been, our good friend?
Mostly good. Getting ready for WhatCon and then trying to survive this storm that has just been hovering over the area that Beth and I are kind of in. Like, it's a really large area in Texas, and the storm, instead of just coming through like it should have, just rested, and it's just been flooding.
Yeah.
And
It's
going
heartbreaking. Just
Yeah.
It's
up to
like,
80
oh.
people are confirmed dead now from these
Mhm.
floods. It's just
Yeah.
tragic.
Yeah.
It's really
I
bad.
actually
It truly
think-
is. Were there no warning? Was it just out of the blue?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It felt
Yeah.
it was early in the morning, like 4 something in the morning, and it rose 25 feet in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So it is
I mean,
something like that is very hard to get away from.
It's a
We
once in
all-
a century flood.
It's really strange too, and like right about 20 minutes from where I work in Round Rock, one of the creeks, or I guess you could call it a river, just it over flooded so hardcore that it went over the bridge. It washed everything. It's unheard of
Yeah,
to
yeah.
see something like that
Mhm.
happen so quickly. So there's a lot of
Yeah. I was
Well,
wondering
it's
if those fucking razor wire covered buoys that your governor put in, are those just like floating through the streets, just like chopping people
That's
down?
a little further south, Ryan.
but I wouldn't be
At the
surprised.
border, Ryan. That's not here or not in Central Texas.
I mean, it's a river. It's a river.
It is a river.
It
Yeah,
is a
let's
river.
keep our all those losses in our minds, especially with like a federal government that I hope is now capable of handling this with grace. It is such a tragedy, and especially this girls' camp that's been around for 99 years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My wife went to a girls' camp, a Christian girls' camp every summer in the mountains, and just,
Mhm.
just imagining it's just gross. It's just
Yeah.
gross.
No, it is a tragedy. Just like emanates out like a seismographic like shock. Like it affects everyone, communities, families, like everyone in Texas is mourning right now, and we're with you guys.
See,
I-
yes,
I
and,
reached-
and
yeah.
politicizing it is horrible. Like I've
Yeah.
seen people on Twitter politicizing it. I've seen politicians politicizing it. It's now is not the time when everybody is accounted for.
Time is.
I mean, when everybody is accounted for and people have a chance to process and grieve and everything, then an accounting can be done.
Yeah. Then we can
You know what
sift
I
through the
mean?
ashes.
But-
Yeah. Then we can post-mortem. Yeah.
Right.
I hear
But
you.
now is not the time. And
Yeah,
that just
totally.
goes to show how divisive this country has been. And as a resident of Texas, and I know Dad Swain's the same way, a blue dot in a very red state, seeing people that are also left-leaning making comments about how, well, Texas, you voted for this. That's obscene.
Right.
No,
It's
Really
freaking disgusting. Nobody, I don't care if the person who they voted for or who
Yeah,
their
do
parents
better,
voted
do
for,
better.
do better, do better.
I
People
know,
have
like
lost their
Melania
lives.
had
People
said,
have
be
lost
best.
everything.
Be best.
Do better. You know,
Yeah.
Be best.
Yeah.
be
Yeah,
best.
and Texas seems to be
lightning
on a
rod.
natural, on like it's nature's punching bag in America.
in a
It's so
way.
huge. It's so
I mean,
huge. Yeah, it's got, yeah.
storms
It's,
and hurricanes and tornadoes and these things.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
guys get hit time and time again. So I hate that you. This is a way
I
of
know.
life for down there where these things happen. Where
Yeah.
Brother Dan-
if
Brother
nature's
Dan-
going to get crazy, it's
Yeah.
probably in Texas.
but when are they gonna learn, Dan?
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
Like obviously, like
Obviously.
some lesson needs to be learned here. When
yeah,
are they?
devil's
all
saying
these
something.
Texans
I know.
Gonna learn.
I'm just kidding.
I'm not
Texan-
Texan. I just live here.
Me too.
yeah.
I'm half
Yeah.
Texan.
I'm just shopping in the store. I don't work here.
Pretty much.
That's awesome.
So yeah, hearts, yellow vibes to
Yeah,
everyone who
absolutely.
is suffering. This is horrible and we hate it.
Yeah, just
But
remember-
speaking of shockwaves, this is something that Nynaeve does in the show.
Mm.
Segue. Yeah, so we've been
segue.
we've been going through some of our main characters, comparing them between the show and the books that we read, seeing their plot, story, character lines, their motivations, all of it. And today we're talking about Nynaeve. Nynaeve is the village wisdom of the two rivers. I would say that early on, there is some additions here and there, but her path is somewhat similar with some added backgrounds, right? Jansen, what would you say about Nynaeve from the beginning?
You mean
Bless
from
you,
the
Beth.
book or the show?
I'll say from the show.
From the show. I think it's similar to the book because for some reason, when I think of Nynaeve, especially early Nynaeve in both the books and the show, especially the books though, Nynaeve may have been the most naive person in the book. Because of her expectation of what she was. She was made something, she was given a position of power very, very early in her life in a place where that position held the most power in the vicinity. Like, it was almost the end all to be all saying, I have all say. And Nynaeve made a lot of her choices, especially early on, with pure emotion. And not even close to all the facts. And she always,
go ahead.
She was always, even in the, in the books, because it was easier to understand what she was thinking in the books than what she's thinking in the show. But even in the books, you found Nynaeve always correcting herself and finding reasons that were even BS to her.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
so that's one of the first things is the Nynaeve in the books is she is a force of nature in her own sense. She is walking around the village green with a switch. She is striking at will. She has carte blanche to hit at people. She is an angry, authoritative person to the villagers. Is this the Nynaeve that we get in the Two Rivers in season 1 of the books or of the Amazon series, Dad Swain?
To a degree, I think so. I think they leaned hard into her being defiant. That's what I got a lot from her. Instead of in the books, you have kind of a assertive force of nature, as you said. In the show, we get more defiance from her. We get that she is young to be in her position, and so that's something that she's criticized for, and she's had to sort of feel that she has to prove to the other women. But she also has a position, as we saw when she was taking Egwene through her initiation. It was Nynaeve that facilitated all that. And the women, followed her in that. So there was authority, there was recognized authority, but when Moraine came into the picture, like, she really gave her that defiance. And so I think we do get a portion of that in the books, but I feel like I saw it more in the show.
Beth, speaking to Dad Swain's point, when Moraine came, we learned a bit about show Nynaeve's backstory. While she was cleaning the sacred pool, Moraine came to talk to her and said, "What's up, Wisdom?" And the backstory that we get, and I'm a little foggy on it, but I think the backstory we get is that the Wisdom before her or her mother?
Her parents died. She was an orphan. She's an outlander. She's not from the Two Rivers. Her parents died, and the old wisdom took her in as an apprentice and pretty much raised her, was my understanding.
And what was the connection with the White Tower with that?
She traveled
wisdom, the wisdom went to the White Tower to try to get trained, and she was cast out because the White Tower looked down at her for being
her rags.
Right. Now do we know if that's really true or not? We don't know, because look at the state that Swan was in when she showed up at the White Tower. So it could have been a story that the old wisdom might have said, an embellishment maybe that she said.
But
who knows?
Didn't deny something like that could happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it wouldn't put it past the pompousness of the White Tower in the show.
Definitely.
So
which
I wasn't a huge fan of that though. When I just remember watching episode 1 for the first time, and they were just like, it was like, like you're wanting to listen to like a really beautiful piece of music, like a harpist or somebody playing the violin or the cello or a guitar, and then a string breaks. And there's like that twang noise that you hear. That was one of those moments that I was like, okay, I'm kind of vibing with this. It's okay. And then there was like this discordant tone, and it kind of like rocked the boat for me when I first watched the show the first time. Of course, I got over it because Nynaeve, Zoe, did such a great job as playing Nynaeve that I got over it real quick. But I didn't love that change from her story in the books.
Yeah, I think that personifies a lot that I don't like about the show. Because in the books, the White Tower would have turned away anyone who showed up on their door, especially a channeler from the Two Rivers. My goodness, like, she would have probably been one of the strongest there. Like, there's no way. And they took that complete aspect from the books of the White Tower needing more people. It was dying. They took that away. One aspect that most people don't even talk about, but that was a core part of Egwene, a core part of, the White Tower's maturation, everything. It was something big that they took out, not even thinking about it, I think.
It just dawned upon me that, all right, so Nynaeve is older than Rand.
Yeah.
So the phenomenon of Two Rivers folk being like hella strong channelers, that I think I always attributed to be like the moment Rand was born, the Two Rivers started hopping. Like that was like he was born, and then the TAVERN pull or nature of it all, like, but I think it has nothing to do with Rand. That's just fascinating to me.
No,
Nothing
this is
to do with
this
Rand.
is the old blood. This is the blood of
I
Manetheren.
think it has everything to do with Aemon.
Yeah.
So is old blood?
It has to do with.
So that's why it's kind of frustrating that they made Nynaeve a foreigner.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like,
yeah. I mean, I
because
think there were a lot of decisions that were made in the first episodes of the show that were not necessary. And of course, I don't really understand why. I mean, and we're hashing old stuff. People have been talking about this now since 2021. I mean,
Right.
I get it, but there's some things like solid things in the books that just need to change, because like when you think about the link, right, like what is Nynaeve renowned for besides being the wisdom
angry.
in the Two Rivers? What was she absolutely
brain.
renowned for?
She's angry.
No,
Her brain
her
tugs.
ability to track. Her
Yeah.
father taught her to track,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
she tracked Lan and Moraine from Emmons Field. That's how she caught up with them.
In fact, she
No,
was
but
the
they-
third best tracker.
Yes,
Mhm.
because she was the son. Her father never had a son.
I know,
So
but
he
then they
trained
explain
her
that
to
away.
do all the things that he wanted to be able to train his son.
But they,
All
right,
right.
but then they do explain that away in the show. Go ahead, Ryan.
They
no, they don't. They
not in the
explain it
show,
away in the
books.
show. Moraine has a tell. You want to know how I
No,
tracked you?
no, that was bullshit. No. In the books,
Touch
it
the
was
nose.
that if you healed someone, you could follow them around like a GPS.
Well, that was
And-
when she got to Bearlawn. That's different. She was tracking them. She didn't know where they were. She tracked them through the woods.
Mhm.
She comes because when Lan and Nynaeve have been separated from the rest of them after Shatter Logith, that's when Nynaeve comes across them for the first time. She finds them by a fire after they've all been separated, and Nynaeve had tracked them
Yeah,
Oh, you're
and
talking about
listen-
in the show?
in the
and
book.
listen to the wind.
No, she found him
Exactly.
in an inn and went right to the room.
No, and
What?
listen
What am I
to the-
remembering wrong?
Oh no,
Nynaeve-
no! After Shatter Logith, wait.
Yeah, Nynaeve finds him in an inn, and
You're
Maureen's
right.
like,
You're right.
how did you fucking find?
You're
you,
right.
You happen to pick
How-
the one inn.
Across them.
No.
again.
There was a point where Moraine
Where
was
she-
talking to Lan by a
I'm rarely
campfire.
right, everyone.
Come
just so
out
you know.
with-
Ryan, I'm so proud
and
of you.
then she stops and she's like,
How did they hear me? It was when they were going to rescue
yeah, 'cause she
Perrin.
could feel her. But she wasn't paying. Moraine wasn't
But
paying
because
attention.
it was when they were going to rescue Perrin and Egwene. It was
Egwene.
still
Okay,
in
this is
book
after
one.
Shatter
Was
Logith?
Nynaeve in Shatter Logith with them?
Yes, they're all
Yes,
there.
because that was after Bearlawn.
Yeah.
They all
Yes.
ran together.
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
that's
they
what
did
the
run
split
together.
happened.
Okay, so Nynaeve came across. She was able to track Moraine and Lan after they were separated in Shatter Logith because she tried sneaking up on them, and Moraine was like, "You can come out now, Wisdom."
Right.
Mhm.
And so she did track them at some point. There
And
was
that-
tracking involved, but she
Yeah.
also
Okay.
did track them to Bearlawn.
Right.
She didn't come across them. She knew exactly where to go when she got close enough to use the healing to find them, but she did track them.
Oh,
Yeah, 'cause
wait,
Lan-
no. I don't know if that you can claim that with 100% accuracy.
I
Like,
think I can because
I think she was
quite-
speaking it like. I think she just like went into her phone. She's like, "Who
Yeah,
did I
just to find a
heal?"
phone.
Did the heal list? Found that she healed Egwene, tracked her.
I don't
That's
think
why-
it's that. I don't think it works that far away.
Either way, Nynaeve's okay. So Nynaeve's
But-
my favorite
Yeah,
character.
so
I mean,
Nynaeve, they changed
Dan,
the
thank you for wearing the
separation-
red.
Oh.
Sorry, Jesus Christ! Thank you for wearing your yellow dress. Nynaeve's a yellow.
They changed
They-
Nynaeve's thing by having her get during Winter Night get pulled away by a Trolloc.
Yes,
When
that
Moraine
was
went
great.
she was any 5 of you could be the dragon. But once Nynaeve was gone, they're like, well, hope it wasn't her. Let's go. let's hit the road. Hope the dragon didn't get eaten.
That's
Oh my
funny.
god, that's hilarious. But you know the thing that
That's a really funny point, Dan.
it
Jesus
is a funny
Christ.
point. It's hilarious. The thing that irks me about show Nynaeve is, excuse the colloquialism, but they totally neutered her. for 2 seasons. And
Mhm.
even in the books, her block didn't prevent her from channeling altogether.
Right.
Her block prevented her from channeling unless she was really pissed off or emotional about something.
Yeah.
And so the fact that we went almost literally 2 entire seasons without her doing anything with the one power was almost it was almost offensive to me, because she's known for these big, huge banger moments. That's Nynaeve is a banger, right?
Mhm.
And it frustrates me that I don't need to see a moment like that, like the mass healing, like every single time, but she should have had moments where she was able to do something instead of being totally blocked. I didn't like that.
Yeah, they should have given her more moments, because there was that one point where Leandrin was kind of badgering her, and then she did the air thing and threw her against the wall. And Leandrin was kind of like, there she is. And that was a good moment of her kind of ignoring the block and going into channeling. But that was, as far as I can remember, that's the only time that she kind of did that. And so there weren't enough moments.
Well, Glenn made a good point in chat that he loved Zoe in the role, but casting her meant they would never be able to do angry Nynaeve, because she would be stereotyped as an angry black woman. Which, I mean, they didn't necessarily have to go with anger. They could have gone with any strong emotion. They could have made it that any strong emotion, because she wasn't angry when she healed everybody. She saw Lan dying, and she wasn't angry. It was a very emotionally overwhelming moment for her. And so I think they could have worked around the anger. They could have made it like you have to be under extreme emotional duress or something. But I just don't like that they literally made her look like she was useless. And they took away her pragmatism. They totally took away her pragmatism. They took it away, and they made it like she was the in season 2, I'm speaking of, when they went to Falm, it was like Elaine that was running the show. Whereas if you remember when Elaine and Nynaeve were in Falm in the books, it was Nynaeve who was like, girl, she's like, we're going to sell these dresses and, we're going to make our money last. Right. And
she's the one who faced off with fucking the Forsaken. Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, anyway, I love Zoe, but she's my favorite character in the books. And I just didn't, she's not my favorite character in the show.
So So real quick. I believe that, and we talked about that. We've been going through each character. I believe in this moment, like with this character, tone is perfect.
Yes.
And like, no.
Okay. No. I mean, I'll address it. Keep going.
No. Okay. So I feel like they got like Nynaeve's like big like heart was here. All right, you know what? I can't defend it. No, you're right. Like they changed a lot, and I'm trying to find like positives.
The Nynaeve that we read in the books is a very angry person, and it's hard to get over that. So, Jansen, do you think that did they define the block well in the show that Nynaeve has, and B, what was that block?
I think they tried to.
She certainly had one.
They tried to craft. They tried to craft one because they had mentionings to like her block, and they started. They even said she used the power and then she couldn't anymore. So there was obviously something wrong with her. But in the books, we didn't see Nynaeve really channel until leave taking when she left Baldara with Varen. And she started using the blackthorn bush rosebud, like in her brain. That's but we learned that she was channeling throughout. We just pieced it together later. I'm talking about on camera though, because we're talking about the movie and we're talking about the big moments.
Right.
So I'm saying that, we didn't see her really do anything until then, and then the next time she did was against the Amerlin. The next time we saw Egwene do it, other than right before she met Perrin. She told Perrin she did it, but we saw her do that with Elaine and Elaine for the first time changing.
Right. So let's dig deeper though. So like that's when we had this block occurred, and then Nynaeve was in the battle of the White Tower during Leandrin's her trial. She didn't do anything. She could not do anything. She just sat there looking worried.
No, she dodged. She dodged.
She rolled under.
She matrixed under that pylon.
When Elaine gets shot with an arrow, she's like, I don't know what I'm just gonna push it through, fletching and all. I'm just gonna, that's probably not sanitary, but we're gonna do this. She, again, I'm not sure if her block was really defined when we have these two very emotional moments where her life is in danger, where she is facing Leandrin, who kidnapped her. If there was any sort of block that should have been overcome by these emotions, I think.
I got an answer for you never heard, man.
Hit me.
Here's the problem, and this is a huge one, okay? I don't believe there's any series of books with more plot armor than the Wheel of Time, okay? When you give a character the opportunity to go berserk whenever she gets pissed, and you give that character a way to make herself angry all the time, she has a way out all the time. On a show, on TV, that doesn't look good.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that, but totally neutering her every single time.
Yeah.
But
well, and we have
character. See, because in the books, the book Nynaeve during the trial of Leandrin would have seen Leandrin's face, made herself pissed enough to blow everybody away.
Absolutely, yeah. She would have
that doesn't look good on a show. Like,
but we do have shows where there are perpetually angry characters.
Yeah,
I'm thinking of Ted Lasso.
Yeah,
Ted Lasso, where he's like
Ted Lasso. Yeah.
Yeah, Roy Keane. The dude is always angry, and yet people love
him. Oh my god, I love Roy Keane so much.
See, that's a good example. Why couldn't we have Nynaeve Keane?
Because we can't have like Nynaeve form going like this every time he gets hit.
Yanking that braid.
I'm gonna yank this fucking brain right off my
Or he could be like Hulk. My secret, I'm always angry.
Yeah.
When Bruce Banner says I'm always angry.
No, look at this. Like first off, Nynaeve is punk rock. And she's always been punk rock. Like, I loved Nynaeve. She was my first favorite character as reading the books. Nynaeve sees injustice and fights against it. She's a fucking anarchist. Like, she's Antifa. She's like everything. If there's like Amazon,
she has a pussy hat, Ryan.
Yeah. No, if like a book, like a corporate bookstore wanted to come in, she would be out there like protesting, saying, look,
she'd be the person chaining herself to the bulldozer.
Absolutely. No, so Nynaeve's always been my girl. I don't, and the idea that and this is almost like a psychological experiment. Imagine being rewarded anytime you're angry from a very early age. That psychological development is really profound. Like, she is at her flow state. She's healing fuckers. She's raising the dead practically when she's fucking pissed. She's unconsciously from the very beginning being like instilled this like positive reinforcement towards anger. For her to have to break that block is one of the more profound like interpersonal struggles and like revelations. It's like one of the great. It's fucking Goodwill Hunting when you push them again. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's that big. It's that big. Like, Nynaeve had to break through the biggest fucking block that has been literally making her successful throughout her life up to the moment when she had to do it. She was underwater. Let's talk about it. It happened differently, but it was nicely encompassing water. She was underwater, and she had to finally give in, which the poetry of water, drowning, giving in, like that, like
very similar to what happened with Egwene in the very first episode, right? Surrendering to the river and
yeah, absolutely, and I love all that, but like I don't like the change, blah blah blah, because it really I don't think that drama within Nynaeve is not a good story, and I don't think it's necessarily really hard to tell. Like, you know what I mean? Like if she's an unlikable character, yes. TV's full of unlikable characters, and then we learn that then you fucking give them the redemption arc, and then also we fucking love them. This is why we like serialized television.
Right? Did you want Nynaeve
arcs
House
with movies?
Dr. Nynaeve House, MD?
Absolutely, yes. Nynaeve's house.
Dr. Nynaeve, medicine woman.
So
this is house healing, right?
Thank you. Keep this up keep that image up, because I do want to address this. This was one of the bigger confusions that our non-book readers had, was that apparently these weaves are supposed to be invisible. So I guess we're just seeing a woman. If you can't see weaves, you're just seeing nothing but a woman screaming, and her braids are flipping up, but there's no lights or anything. But Logain says, oh, it's like a million suns. All this was a bit confusing. I had asked them, so can everyone see these weeds happening? They're like, oh, yeah, obviously. There's shadows. Yes. So I guess I ask you, based on this, were the weaves visible?
No.
No.
No, because I feel like something we miss, and maybe I don't think I'm making this up, but in that scene, if you watch it over, there is Nynaeve yells. There's this explosion of light. Yes.
Yes, just like that.
And then she barks, and then no. And then if you look, there's also, because in season 1 we didn't have the differentiation of colors in the channeling. So you can see white sort of streams coming off of her and going towards the wounded people. And I think Logain, because he had this ability to see, I guess they were trying to say the glow was, he could tell if a person could channel, or maybe a man could channel. Maybe it was also everybody who channels, he can see a glow. I'm not sure.
Well, I think it was more his talent there, because in the show Nynaeve is Nynaeve is ta'veren. They're all 5 of them are ta'veren in the show. Mm-hmm. So I think her ta'veren was happening then, because Logain could see ta'veren.
Yeah, and maybe
even after he was gentled, he was still able to see Matt and Rand in Tar Valon, if you remember that. So I think maybe he saw her.
God, I hate that decision. I would argue that Elaine is more ta'veren than Nynaeve.
More so than not wanting to show like an angry black woman. I think they just didn't want to have someone with like resting bitch face the entire time.
They should have just hired me if they wanted that.
Yeah, I'm serious. They don't.
Yeah. Resting Beth face.
I am the queen of the RBF. It's resting Beth face, is what it is.
Beth face. Yeah.
That does not go well on camera.
But they were
it doesn't have to be like that. No, it doesn't have to. She has hella character. Doesn't have to be like that. Like, if she's constantly fighting against injustice, then you root for her. If she's just mad at her friends for being like whatever, then you hate her. But that's not who she was.
This is the opposite of what we are shown. What we're shown is a very open, sympathetic person that the books don't necessarily show. So when Matt was going through his issue, well, this is when they thought she was dead, by the way. And Loyal shows up and says, "Hey, Rand, that person you described as being dead, I think I found her." Right.
Anyways, I think the book shows a great like production of Nynaeve caring a lot about people.
Yes. Absolutely.
You know,
but it's more interesting if you care and you're fucking angry. That is such an interesting dynamic.
This is the thing. She's angry she's not angry all the time. She's pissed as hell at Moraine
Yeah.
and the Aes Sedai.
And
But she's not
even-
angry all the
She hates
time.
Moraine as much as she hates the Shan in her own work.
Exactly. And that's what one of the things that makes us, we're full spoilers, right?
Yes. Oh, let's
That's
talk
what
about it.
makes
Well,
the coming of age of Nynaeve, so to speak, so freaking beautiful, because after Moraine is freed from the Tower of Genji and she shows up on the fields of Marilor and she comes back into the tent and Nynaeve just embraces her.
yes.
And the reconciliation between them, because Moraine knew what was good for Nynaeve before Nynaeve knew what was good for Nynaeve. And
Yeah.
that is the absolute culmination of the growth that you see in Nynaeve's character arc. You see these moments of growth with her, and that's one of the reasons why she is my favorite character in the books, is because she had, probably besides Rand, she had the most profound personal growth of any of the other characters. I mean, take away Egwene, take away Egwene becoming the Amyrlin. I mean, I think that was a little overdone. But if from a personal growth standpoint, Nynaeve, just I can't really explain it. Just the confidence that she grows into in herself, because one of the other reasons why she's always so off-putting is because she's extremely insecure. She's a young wisdom who's been put in this position of authority. She constantly feels like she has to prove herself to everybody, and then she puts herself, she's again thrust in that same situation when she's in the White Tower. She doesn't become a novice, she's instantly becoming an accepted, and she has this stigma that she's a wilder. She's constantly feeling like she has to prove herself and she has to be the best that she can be, and that is, she is insecure to her, in her heart. That is, Nynaeve is more insecure than angry. And that is her growth into surrender and acceptance, and realizing that she doesn't need to be the person to literally fix everything. You know what I mean? And that personal growth, I love that. I think that's one of the biggest, quietest redemption arcs in the entire series.
Right.
Let me ask you, in the show, would we have seen Moraine pass the water bond to Morel?
It probably would have been passed to Alana. I don't think there wouldn't have been another person.
Yeah, that's true.
It would have been Alana, just to simplify things and keep things.
Because, that's another aspect of Nynaeve that we don't talk about, is the Nynaeve in the books impressed Moraine so much that sometime between Falma and Moraine and Lan getting to Adelis and her sister's house, she did the ritual to pass the bond to Morel, knowing and telling her that she needed to pass it to Nynaeve.
Right. And then when Nynaeve shows up there, like the night before Tarvin Guidance starts, she's like, or the night before she becomes an Aes Sedai, she's like, knock, knock, knock.
Give me that.
She's like, I will take what is mine now. And Morel was busy. She was busy with two people. And Nynaeve was standing on her business, and she was like, I want what's mine right now. Thank you very much.
Look at my stole,
Morel was like, fine.
Yeah, it was kowtowed so much.
She's like, I am not leaving without this bond.
Okay, real quick. Has anyone ever had a similar experience in their life that they're willing to tell?
Somebody pass the bond to them?
No. Where you fucking someone like takes what yours and you go get it.
I mean, my ex-husband, I took him.
Yeah.
I told somebody that he was mine, and of course, a year later, I was glad he wasn't anymore. But at the time, I stood on business.
Yeah, a year later. No. Yeah.
There's a reason I'm divorced.
I was escorting some hobbits across a bridge and stopped a Balrog.
Of course you were.
I said, "You shall not
You
pass."
shall not pass. Okay,
and
yeah.
I didn't move, man.
Well, if you say those words, like a Balrog just can't do anything. Like that's
they're like,
you just said it correctly. It's got to be in the King's English.
We have a little frog that will stand on the door sill of my garage door all summer. That's like at night, that's his little perch. You got to watch out when you're walking out not to step on the frog because he's there. And yeah, we took a picture and said, "You shall not pass." Anyways, sorry.
That's great.
Oh, there she is.
All right, so this whole sequence where they're in Tanchico and they get seduced by a dirty finger.
Perfect. This was perfect.
It was so good.
Right, like this. I loved all this. Again, like it's a Forsaken, right? Like, and they're being compulsed. So like, and the way they played that out, it was so great. But there are these moments where Nynaeve was like pushing against that, and like making Moghedien. No, not was it Moghedien? Yeah, Moghedien be like, what? Like what? Are you actually what? And I loved all these dynamics. I loved all the interactions between Forsaken and our main characters. I liked where this was gonna go. Like I would love to talk about what do you guys think this might have gone. Well, would they be more susceptible to her? Like, is it just like she doesn't have to do it anymore? She just has to walk in a room and they do what she says. Is that, or could Moghedien think thoughts and make them do things? Like, how is this? How is this working?
I think they were using compulsion in the show very similar to the way that they did it in the books. And that was right. But I also liked how it was. I think in the books, I know Nynaeve mentioned that part of her block was that she was afraid of all the power, and I think it touches on what everyone was talking about, where she was pushed into a position of power. She was, scrutinized very closely for her actions because she was young, even in the White Tower. And so she accomplished all of these things at a younger age. And then I think the prospect of unlocking this enormous power that was even going to propel her even further was daunting to her. And in the show, I guess I kind of wish they had maybe emphasized a little bit more, but I liked how Moghedien was the one that sort of pinpointed that and was like, why are you, you're blocked. What's going on there? And she said, I'm afraid of all this power. And then Moghedien was like,
bless your heart.
So it's fascinating. In the notes, Robert Jordan's notes, and Maria Simmons told me all about this. She said that, in the notes it says no one man should have all this power, but Robert Jordan heard no woman, no woman should have all this power, and thereby Rafe came up with the idea that like she couldn't handle it, based on a misinterpretation of a song. Never mind. I'm making all this up. Yeah. Sorry, Jansen. I didn't mean to hurt your face so much. Like your face contorted so hard.
Yeah.
Like,
mine did too. Yeah. It
became like the scream face. You're like, oh, bent all crazy. My bad. Bad joke.
No. I think that like basically they were trying to get it. They were trying, and in a lot of ways failing, but they were trying to show the progression of Nynaeve, because that you can tell by what they were doing. They were ultimately trying to make it so Moghedien and Leandrin facing Nynaeve, Nynaeve was going to hold her own against both.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they were trying to. They were trying to show how. And one of the ways that they were doing that earlier too was when Nynaeve. It's hard to make a block show on television. The way that we had it in the books, we could already see it in our minds and know what was happening.
Yeah.
But
what could they have done? What could they have I
if the director read the series.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no. What could they have done to make that payoff work? Like, I think that if you want to change it, that's fine. But like, I didn't see anything in her character that made her like, oh no, I can't handle the power. Like, why? Where did that come from? Like if you could have like demonstrated that, where she
Yeah.
had an incident, or maybe she wielded power in the wrong way. Like, yeah, just something to undergird that would have made so much more sense. But all of a sudden, she's like, I was scared of how cool I might be. You know what I mean? Like, what could they have done to make it pay off?
I feel
Well,
like
I think they made it pay off. Like, imagine if you're a non-book reading fan watching this show, and Nynaeve splits the ocean walking out of there. I got it. You know, for you, that is a huge moment. And Nynaeve is a powerful ass chick. You know, like, that is like, for a non-book reader. I mean, I think for a non-book reader, Nynaeve was fantastic.
Mhm.
You know, like, but for us, exactly, for a non-book reader, this was awesome. You know, and visually, for a book reader, that was cool. For me.
Right. It was very cool. And it
But
shows
if
her
we-
power.
we have to
But
come
I
back
don't
from
know
up-
if it. I think that it's hard to show the turmoil that she may have been going through, and I think she did a good job. The actress, I think, really, like, through her face, she was showing that things were hard. You know, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to. She didn't have that many lines even this last season.
Yeah, so
she
like,
was completely diminished. So it's hard to judge.
yeah, I
Well,
think
how
in
do
the,
you-
Keep in mind, they didn't know that it was going to be canceled.
Mhm.
You're right. No, they were planning to go forward. Like, how do you fucking okay? So like, I mean, like, some of my favorite characters in television are super complicated. How do you make those characters super complicated?
Well, in
Like,
the books,
you know what I'm
Nynaeve-
saying?
Yeah, like one of the things in the books that I really enjoyed that I wish they could have translated better, maybe into the show, was that we get periodic moments of Nynaeve's strength, and then we get her kind of viewpoint on that, and then it's stressed that the key to controlling Saidar is surrender, and that is something Nynaeve is not very good at, and that's kind of emphasized in these moments and stuff. And then
Yeah, they did it in the Seafolk episode.
yeah,
They
and then in
actually
the
talk
in the
about it.
book, when she's under the water, there's just this line that says Nynaeve did something she'd never done before in her life. She surrendered, and that line hits so hard.
It
You've
does.
been on this journey with her. She does not surrender. She's stubborn. She's two rivers. She's whatever, and she has these moments of extreme power. But when it said she did something she'd never done before in her life, she surrendered. It was just kind of like, oh my god. And I wish we could have had that same maybe emotion in the show, so that when she did the water thing or whatever, maybe even in the dialogue that she was having under the water earlier, they could have said, you know, in order to control this power, you need to surrender. And so that could have echoed, and then she decided to surrender, and that's when she got her Moses moment. But it just kind of, I wish they could have translated that a little bit better into the show, but that was something in the books that hit super hard for me, as for Nynaeve as a character.
Indeed. Yeah, and that was a milestone for her for sure. And I guess we saw that. It wasn't really defined that this was a block remover, or whether it was she just needed to be in the most extreme situation for her to be able to channel, like when her lover has his throat ripped out.
Yep.
Or when she's about to drown, or when Mashin Shin is whispering stuff in her ears. Those were the big moments for her. And it wasn't really even defined whether she broke her block, whether those Cawthon twins broke their weird block. Like all this wasn't really super defined to me, I guess.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's such a complex.
They were already able to channel. You know, they had already
Weird, right.
something, you know, and their blocks seemed to be very, very easy for Alana to break.
Right. Well, let's talk about the relationship
Poor
between
mother.
Lan and Nynaeve. Is that okay?
Between Lan and Nynaeve?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the books, it was a slow burn.
Yep.
I think a lot of the stuff happened off screen. Suddenly, when they came back on page, they had a connection that wasn't really. We didn't see that development so much. I don't think. I think there was just stuff behind the scenes that Lan and Nynaeve in the books were bonding.
There were subtle things in the books.
There
like,
were some, but not like to devote straight. I don't know, but
Rand had never seen Nynaeve out of countenance. Remember, that was very early. That was even before Listen to the Wind. That was very early. That was in Bearlawn. So they had a connection. There was something. Robert Jordan subtly put that in there very early, I think.
And I agree with that, but they weren't. The show has adults as opposed to young adults, and so the Lan and Nynaeve relationship progressed quickly on the show.
People also had sex quickly on the ship.
Fair.
So, like, I mean, and the entire demographic of sex on the show was changed. Galad and Gowan were fucking all their way through the White Tower. So
Sure.
it was totally different. Even the Emerald Seat was like, oh, I guess the girls are going to like him. I mean,
Right.
you know,
The question I'm bringing up though is, did the show do a good job of developing that relationship? Did it do a better job than the books in developing that relationship?
Because the book Nynaeve would have never slept with Lan without being married.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
Mhm.
never. You know
But
what she thought
I
of
think-
that? Like,
I do think that the relationship in the show felt more organic, if that makes sense. Like it kind of
Okay.
developed and grew as a television relationship would, and so it was believable. It was sort of a highlight of the relationships that were in the show that we were experiencing. Lan and Nynaeve is one that gets mentioned a whole lot as like people wanted to know what was going to happen. People liked how it was developing. There's a moment in the books, I think, when Nynaeve is about to go to Tanchico, or Ebudar, I can't remember which city. It's very dangerous, and so Lan in the books, he like kind of barges into the room, sweeps her up, gives her a massive kiss and snog and stuff, and then and Elaine and Egwene are there, and he's like, if they can tell that I love you, they can hear this, and he professes all this stuff, and Nynaeve is like, gobsmacked. She's just kind of like completely, and and it's a great moment in the books with their relationship, and I think it has a different tone in the show where they were focusing on more like meaningful moments, like when he was interpreting the old tongue that she always said that her parents had given her that she didn't know what it means, and different things like that. When he gave her his mother's ring. And stuff like
You don't
that.
think Tam Althor knew what that meant? Come on. No
like,
one
I
knew
don't know.
the old tongue phrase, and she remembered it perfectly from when she was 8. Awesome. Anyways, so the Nynaeve that
Well,
go ahead.
speaking of old tongue, right? Like, how old is Nynaeve and how old is Lan?
Lan is in
Lan is-
42.
Yeah.
Lan was
Nynaeve is
graduated high
26.
school when she was born.
Nynaeve is 25. She's 7 years older than Egwene. And yeah, Lan was 21 when he met Moraine the day Rand was born, making Lan about 40, between 41 and 43.
All right, so this is some old tongue then.
This
He's
is old
giving her-
tongue.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I love it, right? Yeah, can you imagine like sex in a wearing your shape-shifting cloak or your water cloak? That would be rad, right? Wouldn't it?
Where'd he go?
Where'd he go? Look it's just a penis. It's a floating
Wow,
penis.
guys.
All right. Back to Nynaeve. I found that I liked show Nynaeve better than book Nynaeve, I will say. Like as a person. I would find show Nynaeve more approachable than I read book Nynaeve to be. And I was really happy when Matt opened up to her about the crowd of voices in his head and was like, this thing is really crazy and you're the only one I could talk to. And that made me slightly emotional in that the book doesn't have that, and the show, Matt, it's like, Nynaeve, you gotta help me, and it wouldn't tell anyone. He was hanging out with men, wouldn't tell her, told Nynaeve.
Well, he didn't trust men,
right? Nynaeve also accidentally kills Stepan.
I
in
mean,
this day and age, if someone knocks on the door and says, "Hey, you got a bundle for me? I'll be careful," and they die, you are responsible.
Not true.
Go ask Matthew Perry's dealer.
Not true.
oh my goodness gracious!
Because if someone came to me for some sleeping pills that I bought at CVS and wanted to get some sleep and said, "Okay, just take this much or you won't." In fact, that even happened to Soralia and Viren in the books. She said, "Don't take too much or you will not wake up." And so, yeah, I mean, especially in those times, I mean, you could also drunken yourself to death too. He was in the White Tower. There were many, many ways for him to off himself. You know,
I don't know. I've seen a lot of these little knock on the door. Hey, can you help me sleep?
You've seen a lot. That says something about your character.
Oh my god!
This puppet has been around. This puppet's been in the gutter. And to me, it did seem like a straight out. Hey, it's not that the pharmacy was closed; it's that they didn't have a prescription. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was a waste of an episode.
I can't disagree.
Yeah, waste of an episode.
What else about this Nynaeve besides the fact that she wasn't tugging braids? Like, I think we got one token we got a hair flip. I don't remember her giving a braid tug once. Do you, Beth?
Again, that doesn't play well on TV. Well, around like this.
I think there was one or two, maybe. I'm not sure when, though. I need to. Maybe chat will know better than I would.
Yeah, Ryan, did you want a braid tug or two? A little
at least one motherfucking braid tug. Oh yeah,
don't Easter braid.
Yeah, I mean we had a braid throw.
She does tug her braid in the show.
No, never.
Yes, while the visual cue of the braid tug is present, it is not as prominent or frequent as in the books. Yes,
there she holds it
in
like
the Amazon series.
She's holding a dagger in that picture. Right?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, all right. I need an image of her tugging her braid on the show. I don't believe it happened.
I'm sure it did.
What else about Nynaeve? Like, a scale of 1 to 10, how did you like this recreation? We'll start with you, Jansen.
I'm going to give her performance an 8. I'm going to give the character a 7. And I'm going to give her director a 1.
Okay. Those are big words, actually, that last part.
Because the directors, let me tell you something. Sally Richardson Winfield is amazing. I've seen a lot of her work from acting and directing, and she's awesome. So at firsthand, I know how good she is. But there were a lot of other directors, too, and I'm wondering who and who didn't actually, especially the beginning directors who started her path because I'm wondering if they read the entire book. And got, because what we got, every chapter of these books, if you get one thing about someone, it builds and builds and builds and builds and builds on their personality, on how we feel about them, and how they portray themselves. And we couldn't have that in an 8-episode season. They had to ramp it up, and I don't think that the directors read everything about her maturation. So they used what they could. And that's not saying that they were bad. I'm just saying, as far as a book reader trying to see this adaptation, I didn't like some of the choices they made for this incredible actress. That's all I'm saying.
All right, I found it.
Oh my God! Jesus Christ!
There you go.
Get out of here!
That's a good one.
Get out of here!
Nice one, right?
It's the only brain tug I could find.
You son of a bitch, I'm in.
Oh my god.
Dad Swain, give us your rating breakdown.
I think also I would give Show Nynaeve an 8, with the caveat that I think kind of along the lines of some of the other characters, I think that they thought the show was going to go on longer, and so they took a little too much time to give us the shoe drop, and I think that was particularly true with Nynaeve. I think we got the idea that she had her block, and then it's sort of like the joke kept going on, and we're like, all right, to the point where it was just nauseating. But I feel like Zoe understood the character. She liked the character. She tried to give us Nynaeve, and I really do think Nynaeve was good in the show. I just feel like I wish they would have given her that moment a little sooner, so we could have seen a little bit more development from her.
Okay. All right. So no number grades. Just
8.
So you're like UC Santa Cruz,
overall,
where you don't give letter grades, you just give evaluations.
Yeah, I'm like 8 overall with some notes that you can click on.
Okay, some fun. All right, Beth, what do you? And we're not. I mean, I guess we could judge Zoe's portrayal, but I'm also judging the
character,
the overall character.
Yeah. So Zoe's portrayal of Nynaeve, 9.5. She is the personification of Nynaeve for me. I will forever now, as with many of these characters, when I read these books or listen to the audiobooks, I will picture the conversations in my head being.
Oh, wow. See, I don't do that. Wow.
I do.
Okay.
I do. But in regards to the character of Nynaeve in this show, you guys also have to realize she is my favorite character in the books. I would give, with the exception of a few highlight moments of Nynaeve, I would probably say their representation of Nynaeve in season 1, I would give it a 7 because episode 8 felt so flat for me. But in seasons 2 and most of season 3, I would give a 5 of the show's interpretation of Nynaeve. Zoe was amazing as Nynaeve. But I don't like how long it took for them to, like what Dad Swain said. I hated that they neutered her. I hated it.
How do you act being helpless time and time again, right? I mean, it's kind of what they were asking her to do.
Yep.
All right, you're in this situation and you're helpless. Go.
Yeah, it was giving like Jean Grey in the cartoon where she just trips and falls all the time.
Ryan, go back to that other picture. I do not like the handbag. She would look way cooler without the satchel. Without the Vendy, without the coach.
The
Prada.
Have like the triangle in it.
Say again, Jansen?
Satchel will have the triangle in it.
Oh, it may.
Oh, maybe.
It may. It just doesn't work with the outfit for me.
Yeah. I mean, maybe, but they won't explain shit. No, this looks like she just is joining a Coachella.
I do not like this outfit.
I did like this outfit, actually.
These are clashing patterns. This is not good. The top and the bottoms are almost like.
Oh, okay, let me rephrase that. I liked the top for sure. I thought that was it's a very cool cut. I like the bare shoulders. I like the design and stuff.
I don't like the poofy sleeves. I don't know.
Oh Jesus Christ!
I wouldn't wear it.
Hey, yeah, no poofy sleeves here. All right,
So
this is.
Go ahead.
I just real quick, beautiful artwork.
Mm-hmm.
I love all the artwork.
Where did you get that first picture?
This?
I've seen that one before. That one.
Google.
I like that one.
Yeah,
Let me see. I think I have the name of him. I probably should be doing that more. But anyways, yeah.
Jansen, let's.
I like this the blackthorn bushes in the background. I think that's really cool.
The blackthorn with the yellow background.
Her frames are.
Yeah.
And she just got Botox.
Throughout the show, how much was edited out? That's a really, really good question. Because I'll guarantee you, they probably edited out in 3 series. They probably edited out enough to make 4 or 5 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder what they, chose on, because we know for a fact from the very beginning that, they edited out Matt making out with I forgot her name in the series, but Matt made out with the woman that he stole the bracelet from. He tried to sell to Pat.
Yeah. They actually filmed that.
Yeah, they filmed that. Yes, they did. I've seen the footage.
What is Matt's fuck style?
Oh, they didn't show him.
Is she doing this and he's behind?
Oh my God, you guys!
No, we need to know. Like, is Matt a top or bottom? That's Wayne.
Matt is a versatile top, and I think he's like a jackrabbit.
He's a switch, is what he is.
Jackrabbit. Oh, like he doesn't stop. He just starts.
Like,
he's like the Energizer Bunny.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Give me your bracelet."
Give me your bracelet.
Give me your bracelet.
Do you think Matt is a selfish lover?
Selfish?
Yes.
I thought you said subbish.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yes, I do think Matt, at this point in Matt's life, Matt is a selfish lover. Yes.
Yeah.
Do you think Tuan breaks him of that?
What are we doing?
I don't want to talk about this. This is about Nyneave. This is not about.
What are we doing?
Do you think Nyneave is a selfish lover?
Absolutely not. I think.
Is Nyneave a top?
No.
No. By definition,
absolutely not.
By definition, Lan is in charge. Lan is all top by agreement, by contract.
Yes.
They swore vows that Lan would always be a top.
Does she make Lan wear the coat with nothing else on? These are the questions people want. Inquiring minds want to know.
Well, remember that I think what was the arrangement, because they got married by the Sea Folk. So in
the arrangement was that
she was the boss in private or in public.
No,
right?
That wasn't it. It was that
she was the boss in public.
They both had to go down on each other.
Yeah.
That is exactly what it was.
It is true.
That's exactly what it was.
They demanded 69,
right?
Or that has to be like sequential.
No, it's like
marriage ceremony.
Yeah, they flip a time like a sand thing, and then once Lan's done, they turn it over, and then Nynaeve has to match it.
You may now 69 the bride.
You may now consume genitals.
Wow.
Can we get the exact quote on this? Chat? Jansen, anyone? Yeah, Dale fucking coming in strong with just a solid 69.
I was talking to Elaine about it.
Right.
And in Elaine's point of view, they had some rather bizarre things that happened in her wedding. I know it was in Elaine's point of view, though. Because Elaine had questions.
Well, sure. She's an inquisitive mind. Yeah. So, but the overall gist is that he does not contradict her in public.
There we go. Okay.
and she does not contradict him in private, more or less. It seems
That's
like
weird.
it does have this little.
Well, that's not even just, and for the sea folk, that's not just a marriage thing either. You know, that's with marriage that's with everything with the sea folk. It's what when in a marriage, whatever position you're in, you know, because of and that's because of the way that the sea folks, you know, society is. You can rise, and then when you once hit the top, you go back down to the bottom. So you're constantly in a different position of power. So in the sea folk situation, it changes. You know, for Lan and Nynaeve, that's never going to change.
Right.
The sea folk, I think, demand missionary position just so no one steals their bracelets off the side table, like Matt.
Like Matt.
Sheep fucker.
We are reaching a level
All
of
right.
absurdity at this point.
Yeah,
All
we
right,
got
you're right. Anything else about Nynaeve?
I'm sorry. I think fuck style is a
It's
it's rarely broached, but like it's important. Like we all think about it. Like let's be adults about it.
let's be adults.
What's Nynaeve's fuck style? We should have done this for all of our characters.
You kind of should have, right?
Yeah.
It's strategic for the last battle.
See,
Parent-
exactly.
Style, right?
Parents
Wow.
Wolfie style. Yes.
Yeah, all right.
All right.
Sorry, guys.
All right. Karen fucks Wolfie style. That's right.
Tell a ramrod.
Tell a ram Riyadh. That's amazing.
It's only a weave.
All right. So, yeah, this has been a great discussion. Does anybody else have any other points we want to make about our favorite? Actually, Beth, come up here, Beth. Come here. Nynaeve's been my favorite.
Yeah.
I didn't know she was yours. Okay,
Oh,
like
she's my
literally,
absolute
like you're
favorite.
absolutely. So why? And I'll tell you
I
why.
see a lot of myself in Nynaeve. I resonate with Nynaeve on a person to person level. Her character is a lot like me. Like I felt like I had to prove myself a lot when I was growing up. I was thrust into some positions of authority that I wasn't ready for when I was younger. And I started reading these books when I was 17 years old. And I've always resonated with her.
Mhm.
Literally since I was a teenager.
Yeah,
And,
like yeah, anytime you find me running around in the streets with a lead trying to catch a dog, like I feel like
right.
you feel
like
like you're Nynaeve bringing the stray dog.
yeah, like no, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Ryan has hurt his back lifting a car off of a child.
I mean, and the other thing about Nynaeve is that she is unwaveringly loyal to the people that she cares about. She will give everything for the people she cares about. And come hell or high water, she is a fighter, and she is that loyalty speaks so much to me. I mean, even to the fact when you think about like when Rand before the veins of gold moment, when she like freaking ate her own pride, or she swallowed her pride and she went to Cadswain and she was like, what can I do to help? Like she just that is just like she does, she stands on business, she does whatever she needs to do, whether it's the high road or the low road.
Yeah.
But she always thinks this is what I can always say. Like I look back and I tell my kids, right? Did I make mistakes when I was raising you? Looking back, hindsight being 2020. Yes, I made mistakes, but do I ever regret decisions that I made? No, because when I made those decisions, when I made it, I did it because I had the best intentions. Nynaeve was not perfect.
Yeah.
But she was also, and you guys might not agree with me here, one of the most selfless characters in this. She literally put everything to the side for people around her.
Yeah. Hey,
Absolutely.
Case I'd stop listening right now. Turn it off. Like, for fuck's sake, like who? Give me. She's top 5 characters with the biggest impact on the whole entire story.
I agree, 100%.
Her, I mean, like her beats. She's one of the most important characters. I want to give it top 5. She's literally there at the fucking last.
She
battle.
is Rand's ride or
She's
die.
hand chosen.
She is
to
Rand's
be
ride or
there.
die.
Yeah, of all the people, like Nynaeve. And that's how I want to be. Like, I want to be like seeing like if you're going through shit, like I'm the one you call upon. Like,
and think about what she did even during that time. She saw a person in need and did everything she could to save Alana's life. Rand is in this battle.
So amazing,
He sees Alana in a corner with a mortal wound, and she can't channel because Rand is using her as a conduit, and because they're linked. And she has her fucking pouch of herbs that she never.
Yes, I know. She never gave up on it.
And she's using. She's using her everything within her power to try to save a life while she's literally giving her life to Rand at that moment.
It's one of the most.
It was mind you, it didn't end up good at the end for that, but the fact that she was still standing on business trying to help somebody who needed help when she was also freaking giving all of her energy to Rand. Like that is Nynaeve right there, man. That is just her. That is her. She is her.
You are right.
Her. She is her.
And I'm with her. I'm with her. She is one of the most loyal characters that we meet. She is one of the most influential characters in her relationship with Rand. She is involved in everything. She helps clear the winds. She cleanses the taint. She
sets up land for victory. She sets up land.
Gannon to Egwene. She could have turned them away. And Gannon saves Egwene's life before she's willing to give up everything. Like literally, she's
So would the show have been able to let's say the show did everything it wanted to. Would the show have been able to recreate what we love in Nynaeve?
I think so within reason. I don't think we don't have 8 seasons of 8 shows per season isn't enough time to fall in love with that character, with how nuanced she is. But I think we would have seen her loyalty. We would have seen her compassion. We would have seen her desire to heal anything that could be healed. Her strive for perfection, her strive for learning and knowledge, and we would have seen those positive things about her, I think, for sure.
Well, let me ask, would Moraine have the actor who played Moraine, would those roles have been shifted towards Moraine? Jansen, do you think that Rosamund Pike would have been the one to cleanse the Bowl of the Winds or help cleanse the taint, or because of just the status of the actors involved?
Well, I think it would probably have been either Rosamund. I think it would have been Rosamund, because I think she would have found out how to use Sikarnan finally on the show. I think that they would have switched that. I think her and Rand, the relationship that they were building with her and Rand, especially with her asking the kinds of questions that she were. How do you I can even see the scene right now, them together holding Sikarnan, her looking at him and saying, like,
you're right. Yeah,
I can totally see it, and they were building that up, and they would have been them.
So would Moraine have just been diminished then?
No, brother Dan. No.
Something else. Nynaeve would have done the one thing that no one had ever done. Nynaeve would have healed Stilling. Somebody's.
Logain, they would have brought Logain back. They would have done it.
Guys,
I'm telling you, still to this day, that we didn't get the 8th Forsaken. The 8th Forsaken was going to be Mazrim time. It was going to be Team Andred. And I know people wanted to see Asmodean and shit, but it was going to be Team Andred, and maybe he
I-
could play the guitar.
I
And-
wanted to see Asmoney until I saw Tom Maryland, and then I was like, yeah. I don't
How,
wanna see
how about this? How about this? They were like, okay, the last time they tried to do this, the male and females couldn't come together. This time, Moraine and Rand together take on the Dark One.
Hmm.
Right? Why wouldn't that be? I mean, maybe Nynaeve's added also, but like obviously, like Moraine's gonna be there. Like,
Well, yeah, I mean, we
Yeah,
never
well,
got
here's the thing.
Calendor, right? We
Mhm.
didn't get
No.
Cadswain. We didn't get Calendor. We didn't. I
Do you
mean,
think they
there's-
made a Calendar?
Yeah,
Yeah.
wow,
Man.
at least
Calendor.
concepts of it. Yeah.
concept art. Yeah.
Calendor anybody has ever had. Wait till that episode.
Are like new show producers trying to figure out how to make their blockbuster hit show less expensive? Is
That's
like
a great question.
right? They're like, oh, it's just too expensive. So it's like, did Rafe kind of like not budget well? Like what is behind that? Like,
What I heard that the first season of The Wheel of Time was more expensive than the first 2 seasons of Game of Thrones. This was 20-year difference, so I guess there's maybe that. But yeah, money management may have been an issue here, Ryan.
Dude,
I heard it was $400 million for the first 2 seasons, right?
Dude, that's not it, man. Yosha was getting big. All of the other people were starting to get bigger offers, and after the third season, you start renegotiating your contract. They weren't going to be able to afford it.
yeah. Brother Dan was getting big too.
Yeah, well, that makes me big just seeing that, right? Anything else about our show to book comparison in Nynaeve that you guys wanted to bring up?
No.
I liked, in conclusion, I liked how we got an extremely powerful character in Nynaeve, and some aspects in the books that I missed, I think, not even being a book clerk or whatever, but just the fact that we got to see these human moments where, like when she had her block, I believe Elaine was doing something, and Nynaeve was like, I wish I could see these weaves, quick, kick me in the shin, do something. And you have her doing those things where she's like, you don't have to scream like a cat, and then the next scene she screams like a cat. So these little Nynaeve moments of humanity, which were comical and funny and kind of gave a balance to her in a sense, because she could have been this just Nynaeve powerful, she can do no wrong, she can do all things. And they gave her these little moments of like, oh my god. And I did see some of that in the show, but it took the form of like there was that one moment where Moraine was like, if wisdom is what you want to call yourself, you might want to try getting some. And it was like, oh, shade.
Yeah.
I loved that.
Yeah, so you have these sort of human moments that they gave to Nynaeve as well in the show. But overall, she's always been one of my favorite characters just ever written in any series.
I personally fear that the show Nynaeve would have been continued to be somewhat diminished because of the way that things were going. I love Nynaeve. The way that she is in the books is very nuanced, and I do recognize that that's hard to do. I think there was a lot of confusion about what Nynaeve was supposed to be doing in these last 2 seasons. And trying to handle the block, I think, was a challenge for the showrunners to do it gracefully. And I think they tried, the scene where she opens the becomes Moses is fantastic. It's so visually cool. The overall, I think a lot of these characters that we have were somewhat in the doldrums of writing, and I think Nynaeve was kind of caught into that. I think she's more powerful and more impactful in the books than she was in the show, and I'm not sure. I think they were trying to build to her. They just never were able to get around to it, I guess,
Yep.
All right, Ryan.
Yeah. Take us home.
Take us home. Oh,
Are you
by
guys
the
going
way,
to walk
guys.
on? I know Dad Twain is. Are either of you?
I'm still considering what I'm doing.
Hmm.
Now,
Okay.
I did not expect to be coming to Cleveland as early as I was. My father passing, so
Yeah.
I have to figure that out, and we'll see.
Yeah.
I and Ryan are not going this year. Hopefully, if they have one next year, that'll be a different decision.
Okay.
But this year we are not. But yeah, that's coming up, and this is a weird spot to not go to WalkCon because I've gone to every one so far. So everyone have fun. Miss me. Send me. Post all your WalkCon photos into our Discord. I'd love to see them and live vicariously through my FOMO.
Don't worry. I'm going to make up for not being there last year. So
Yeah, we're gonna turn it up.
Beth, how is your Twitch streaming?
It's going pretty good. It's going pretty good. I'm eligible to apply for partner, but I'm not going to apply for partner until probably the end of August because numbers go down in the summer. So I'm going to wait till things pick back up a little bit, but it is a legitimate side hustle. I made $1,500 last month on Twitch.
Hey,
It's wild.
Fuck
Paid
yeah!
for my WalkCon trip.
Right.
So I'm averaging $1,200 to $1,700 a month on Twitch right now for a side hustle. So it's a legitimate side hustle.
All right.
I hit 4,000 followers today on Twitch.
Hey, well done.
I'm at, thank you, 13,500 followers on TikTok.
How do you monetize on Twitch? Like, how do you get money? Let's
People
talk
donate
after.
subs. It's very much like membership here. Memberships
They
were
donate.
it's weird. I can't really explain it in an easy way, but yeah, it's just I'm having a really great time, and
And you've kept it wholesome.
well, for the most part. I mean, I clap back at idiots. Don't get me
I
wrong.
mean, you curse, but you don't show off
Exactly.
your amazing bosoms.
If people are toxic, I tell them that they're toxic, and I tell them why they're toxic,
Like it.
and put them
Yep.
in their place very quickly. You don't drop hard R's in 2025 in voice chat. It's
Mhm.
it's
Thank
never
you.
okay.
Yes.
And you don't need to be a misogynistic asshole because I'm a woman, and I'll put you in your place.
Yeah.
Well done.
But yeah, so the next big thing for me is eye surgery. Hopefully next month I'll have bionic eye surgery, and
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Yep,
You'll
finally.
be like RoboCop.
well, I'm 51 and I have cataracts,
Mm.
so which is young for cataracts. And I had to go. I went to an ophthalmologist. They said I definitely qualify for corrective crystalline surgery, but I had to go to a retina specialist because I'm so nearsighted that my retinal wall is thinning in the back of my eyes, and so I have to go to a retinal specialist to get laser procedures done to strengthen my retinal wall before I have the surgery done. So hopefully August, maybe September for that. But then I won't be wearing glasses anymore. I'm so excited.
my
All right, that will blow my mind.
That'll blow
Yeah.
my
I
mind.
have been wearing glasses since I was 5 years old. So
Do the
All right.
eyes come with Bluetooth?
did-
Yeah.
She can
and
connect.
Wi-Fi.
God damn it! Straight the-
You have a little like Leonard Skinner blasting out of your face. Lord, I was born around the moon.
Speaking about blasting out of the face, hit that like and subscribe button.
That is so for what the heck is that?
All right.
Smash the like button.
Smash the like button. Oh no.
All right.
So
Yeah,
anyway,
hey.
things are going really well. They're going really, really well.
Yeah.
Very happy
Hey.
for you.
Hopefully, at some point, we'll get the Beth Doman bump.
Mhm.
Where like
Beth Doman what?
The bump, like where all your subscribers come over to our world.
That would be
and, like,
amazing. That would be absolutely amazing. If
I
I can,
think-
I have some followers who are interested in the Wheel of Time, but they haven't read the books and they don't want spoiler stuff. So that's like that's a bad thing about this show
Right.
with my followers that are show watchers. I don't want them to be spoiled. No.
No.
Ryan, let's start over just so we can do this. with Nils.
Is Nils from Norway? Norway?
Yeah.
Yes.
I once had a friend. His name was Nils.
Oh, geez.
Norwegian Nils. All right, that's all I got.
It's gorgeous.
Nils, I'm gonna see you the rest of the week.
Fuck you, Jansen. Fuck you. Don't you shake your head like
Fuck you,
that.
What was that?
You hated. You didn't like my song. You shook
You
your
don't
head.
like this song.
What?
Hey, Jansen.
I'm
Jansen,
playing with you.
You have to smile every time Ryan sings. This is a rule.
Because it's so good.
All
right.
Real quick, I'm going to be
yeah.
on 2 panels at WatCon. If you guys are doing virtual memberships, I'm going to be on the content creators panel, and I'm going to be on the Gia trial panel. Oh, I gotta get wait!
Awesome. I hope you get a huge a surge from all those activities.
It's going to be amazing.
That's when you guys.
So if you have a virtual subscription membership, watch those panels.
It's gonna be loads of fun. I think Pavara and I are going to do like a little bitty luncheon on Sunday and talk about the Old Tongue. And
I love that.
Play a few little games and stuff. It's not an official panel or anything, but we really wanted to try to bring an aspect of the Old Tongue, to WatCon. And so I'm really stoked to listen to her talk about the language and stuff.
I love that. It's going to be a CouchCon event.
Yeah, basically. And she said, bring your Java and sit down and let's have an Old
Tongue. Fabulous. Havar is amazing. She's just absolutely amazing.
Wonderful. She's so cool.
All right. And Jansen, anything you got to promote before we leave?
Just auditioning and submitting and, dealing with life as life comes to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope everything, definitely keep your family in my thoughts this next week, Jansen.
Thank you.
I hope everything continues to go as well as it can under the circumstances, for sure.
Yeah.
Well said.
All right. Yeah. And I think there's a sound advice in these times we're living in. Run for your lives.
This is
the way to leave.